Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy T for 365 Horror, and this is a horror movie discovery channel. I am just here to put as many horror movies on your watch list as possible, and we're going to be looking at every single brand new streaming release for the week of November 10th, plus getting into my trailer reactions. So let's get into it right now. Now we are going to get into the video, but before we do, I've got to remind you guys to please like and subscribe. And it really was pretty slow week for me. Nothing really interesting happened. Just work, came home, same old, watched football, watched movies, which we'll get into for a second. But one thing that was, I don't know if this is funny or it's funny. I can laugh now. But the other day I was taking the dog out and we're starting to have like first frosts of the year and stuff like that. And so the deck is like super slick, and I don't usually kind of go out there when it's frosty because even my last dog, who I had until she was 15, like how it was so long since I went out with her. And so I actually like took this real tumble off the deck, and it was actually kind of crazy. Like I'm so super like happy I didn't hurt myself or anything. I like lightly sprained my finger, but what was funny was I had the dog's leash, and of course as I go down, like I just let go of her and she's like barking like at me like something knocked me down, and I'm like, no dog, it's just me being clumsy as hell. So yeah, man, just regular life around here, just doing dumb stuff, watching movies. So let's get past that and let's get to some of the movies I watched. So the first movie I watched this week was Hell House LLC Lineage, and I didn't mind this movie. I thought that it was kind of middle of the road. I really did want to like it more. I really think that going away from the found footage kind of lost a little bit of soul of this franchise. Like that really was what it was built on. And once we just got like a regular movie with regular tropes, it just wasn't that good. And I was kind of disappointed at the like off-screen kills at the beginning. Like, what are we watching here? Like some of that stuff works good in a very subtle kind of found footage way, but honestly, I'm going to be 100% honest. I think that they captured like a very certain lightning in the bottle with Hell House LLC Part 1, and that subtlety being so new and just how it was like worked really well. But I don't think they've really been able to capture that since. Like Part 2 was okay. I could take or leave Part 3. I thought Carmichael Manor was actually good and creepy, but this new one, man, it just was kind of middle of the road. Like, I'm not saying it was a bad movie. It was a decent watch. Like, I wouldn't pay, but it was just okay. And the next movie I watched does go along with a little piece of streaming news, and that is the fact that I was kind of like flicking around Netflix, and I saw that the movie Scared Shitless hit Netflix. And so I did watch it, and I actually liked the movie. Like the father and son, the way that they interact in that movie is great. Like they make the movie, and it actually is funny. Like there was a part that I actually laughed out loud. Now, this isn't a serious movie, so you have to kind of go in knowing that, but it was gory too, and just like I thought, like just gross toilet humor, tons of toilet humor, very raunchy movie. So if you like that, then you're definitely getting that in spades. So you might want to check that one out. But I actually really like Scared Shitless, and for free on Netflix, if you like horror comedy, and it does get a tiny bit zany at the end. It's got a couple of cliches, but overall, like for what it is, it's pretty good. It's got like some good practical gore, and it's just super gory. And yeah, not a bad movie for your watch list. And the last movie that I checked out this week was Jimmy and Stiggs, and oh my god, okay, so now that is a raw, raunchy movie. Like, don't watch that with your kids around. Like that is just like, I can't believe how many F-bombs get dropped in that movie. Like they actually sounded how I sounded when I was in my early 20s. It's just like F this, F that, what the F are you talking about, F-er? Like it was on and on. But it is a good, like it is a pretty you know what, let me dial it back a little bit. It's pretty good. It's got a lot of gore, and it's just a very crazy, frenetic movie. Like with like some of the beatdowns in the movie are crazy, and just like this psychotic trip Buddy goes on is insane. And it's got a lot of gore, but what they did is they did this kind of design choice where they made the gore, it was like alien blood gore, so it was like all the blood was kind of neon, and so it detaches you from any real like disturbing vibe from the gore, you know what I mean? But it is bloody and crazy. And again, if you just want like it's not labeled a comedy, but honestly, like it's pretty funny too. And if it at the end it just gets completely wacky and just gets crazy. So if you are in the mood for like kind of that raunchy, another again raunchy horror comedy, this one not really rooted in reality. Like I felt that just movie wise, Scared Shitless was a little bit more rooted in reality. Like I know it's creatures in the toilet, but aliens and just the trip this guy goes on, it's a crazy movie. So yeah, if you are in the mood for something like tons of alien blood, gory, raunchy movie, then check out Jimmy and Stiggs. And we're going to get into one piece of streaming news, which I already kind of gave away, and that was the fact that Scared Shitless is on Netflix. And again, I thought this was a good movie. You guys should definitely check it out if you like horror comedy. It's not the best movie, but honestly, the father and son, Stephen Ogg or whatever, and the son, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but their character interactions are actually funny. Like the conversations they get into and like the little back and forths they have, it was just a pretty good movie that I definitely would suggest. All right, but we're going to get into some new stuff. The first movie we're going to take a look at is a straight horror named The Decedent. And this movie is available on Tubi.
Anyone inside, please make yourself known.
A young mortician is confronted by a supernatural force while working on the body of a recently deceased serial killer. It is directed by Andrew Bowser. Okay, so after watching the trailer for The Decedent, this one looks like it could be a pretty decent found footage horror. So right away, first off, I just loved the setting, like any kind of morgue or where you're sitting with dead bodies. It really gives off this kind of the autopsy of Jane Doe vibe, and that movie was really creepy. So that kind of gets me excited. And even from some of the stuff we see, like the body jerking and just some of the kind of footage we're seeing and some of the visions, it really looks like they're pulling off some of those kind of same creepy shenanigans here. I also think we're getting for a good devolution of the main character because she goes through like this crazy psychotic break, and by the end of the movie you could tell that she's just completely spiraling into like madness. Like honestly, by the end of this trailer, she is pretty much going batshit crazy. And once you mix that with some kind of raw, disturbing gore, because it just looks like some of the autopsy gore, and just you see like a slow stabbing in the stomach part, which could be disturbing. I don't know, you just mix all those factors and we could have a little bit of a Tubi gem here. Honestly, this one's got to be a first in a while, but I think The Decedent looks like a really kind of decent found footage movie. And so even though it's on Tubi, and I rarely give this to Tubi, but this one's going to get a regular to higher spot on my watch list.
What's got you in on a Saturday night?
Decedent over here. He died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. I basically have to make him a new face.
Next movie we're going to take a look at is a comedy horror named Queens of the Dead. And this movie is available on Google Play, Apple TV, and Prime Video.
I know, such injustice, right?
Drag queens and club kids battle zombies craving brains during a zombie outbreak at their drag show in Brooklyn, putting personal conflicts aside to utilize their distinct abilities against the undead threat. It is directed by Tina Romero. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Queens of the Dead, this one looks like a middle-of-the-road kind of zombie horror. Now, right off the bat, you could tell that they're not really aiming for creeps and scares, and honestly, I don't really think it's even that kind of film. But there are some positives. Like, I really think that they're going to really come with the gore in this film. Like, the little clips we see, there is some pretty gory parts. Like, at one point on one of the stiletto heels, there's an eyeball. And there's some pretty raunchy humor, like some pretty cheeky stuff in the film. So that's always good. And like the kind of comedy or a zombie flick, you always need gore and raunchy humor. Now, the questionable part is whether or not that humor is going to land. I just feel like in this kind of 2025 landscape, not everyone's going to appreciate the humor. But honestly, for me, that doesn't matter because I'm just in it for the art. I'm happy to kind of experience other people's experiences and see other ways of life. And there is some good kind of comedy stuff here, as long as they don't really go like too over the top or zany. Overall, I think that Queens of the Dead looks like it has some comedy baked in there, but I really think for me, it's gonna have to be like one of those I'm really in the mood to watch it watches. So I think this one's gonna get just a little bit of a lower spot on my watch list.
Bitch!
Oh, fuck.
Something very bad is going on.
Manhattan is under siege.
What the hell?
Shelter in place?
Next movie we're going to take a look at is a straight horror named Frenzy Moon. And this movie is available on Apple TV, Google Play, and Prime Video. Six college grad students and a mysterious stranger battle a pack of ferocious werewolves in a secluded cabin. It is directed by Gregory Lamberson. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Frenzy Moon, this one looks like a little bit of a subpar werewolf horror. Now, I always like to start with the good, so let's start with the fact that this does look like a decent Circle of Friends vibe, and you always get like some laughs and some easy chemistry, so you're always getting some mileage out of that, and that is here. But unfortunately, that's where it kind of ends, because once we really hit the core of this movie, which is the werewolf, that's where I felt like the film just really starts to kind of fall apart. And when it comes right down to it, it just really does look like just a dude in a suit, and not even like the greatest suit, so that wasn't the greatest. And then when you mix in it with like this really B-movie aesthetic where the acting just was kind of wooden and hokey, it did lose a little bit of my interest kind of quickly. I gotta be completely honest, I'm not a big werewolf fan from the beginning, and if I do watch a werewolf movie, I want to see a good transformation. I didn't see transformations. I want to see the werewolf look good, like Wolfman, at least it looked a little good. Like, this looks like a dude in a suit, so I'd be hard-pressed to turn this one on, and unfortunately, this one's getting a lower to skip spot on my watch list.
It's your thing.
Open the damn door! Come on!
They're coming for us.
What are they?
Werewolves.
Next movie we're going to take a look at is a movie that I can't believe I missed last week. This actually came out last week, but I've been looking a little bit forward to it. So we're going to take a look at it today. And that is the straight horror named Black Phone 2. And this movie is available on Apple TV, Google Play, and Prime Video. As Finn, now 17, struggles with life after his captivity, his sister begins receiving calls in her dreams from the Black Phone and seeing disturbing visions of 3 boys being stalked at a winter camp known as Alpine Lake. It is directed by Scott Derrickson. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Black Phone 2, this one looks like a decent to good supernatural horror. Now, firstly, I was really actually curious exactly how they were going to do a Black Phone 2. And to be completely honest, I'm happy and like the premise that they landed on. Because honestly, I just think that the grabber looks way more menacing from the grave. And from all the supernatural stuff and the creeps and scares we were getting, that just looked really great. And honestly, from what I saw, it looks like they're just going to really ramp up the scares and push it way past the first movie. And to be honest, I even really like the kind of little Freddy Krueger in their dreams thing that he had going on. And the gore, mixed with some of the creeps, it definitely kicks it up a notch. Like there's one part where there's like a little kid under the bed that looks creepy. And some of the things that he does to like Finn's sister, just with these throat slashings and blood spraying, like it really is ghastly. So overall, I think Black Phone 2 is dialing up the terror from way past the original. And personally, I did like the first one, so I think that this one's going to get a higher to maybe even watch immediately spot on my watch list.
You, of all people, know that dead is just a word.
All right, guys, last movie we're going to take a look at is a straight horror named Don't Answer. And this movie is available on Apple TV and Prime Video. Ejected by an overcrowded asylum and reassigned under a right-to-work policy, a childhood predator is delivered to a new town where his only plan is to make the population zero. It is directed by Mark S. Allen. Okay, so after watching the trailer for Don't Answer, this one looks like a subpar to meh slasher. Now first let's kick it off with what actually worked, because I thought that the unhingement of the killer, I don't even think that's a word, but I think that the killer looked unhinged, and that part wasn't bad. He really had like a couple of instances where he just had like this deadpan stare, and it really like did a good job of encompassing this almost like emotionless, dead behind the eyes psychotic vibe. Plus, we got a few pretty good images of some gore, and when you're watching the trailer, you just see what looks like he's racking up a ton of victims. So hopefully, if they can keep them good and gory with not a lot of off-screen kills and really lean into that, we could have something here. But what didn't work for me was just the overall aesthetic, because once this is another movie where the B-movie sheen just really hurt it. It made the whole thing just overall feel kind of wooden and hokey. But because it is kind of this serial killer who we see rack up a lot of victims, and he's like a child predator, which is a pretty dark, disturbing thing, I'm hoping that that B-movie could do the one good thing that they sometimes do, where they just really throw caution to the wind and show us something like dark and disturbing. Don't Answer for me just looks okay, and unless I hear there's something really disturbing here, I think this one's got to get a lower spot on my watch list.
The state is forcing me to release you.
Good morning, I'm Jack from Quick.
If you want to stay out, then you have to follow a series of strict guidelines.
Hi.
Slow. How did you even get this job? You are gonna kill somebody.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for me for another episode of brand new releases for you guys to watch and stream. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did find a couple of gems for your watch list, please leave me a like and subscribe. So if I had to make a couple of picks this week, the first movie I'm going to pick is Black Phone 2, because I really like what they're doing with this sequel here. I like the whole premise of it. I think it's kind of interesting that, like I said, they brought the grabber back from beyond the grave, so I just think he looks a lot more menacing and creepy. I thought that some of the gore looked good. I thought that the movie overall just looked like a good big budget film. There was a couple parts with Finn, his acting, I don't know, as he's gotten older. I don't know if I thought it looked worse. It could just be me, but either way, I do want to check that out, and that is going to be my first pick of the week. And for my second pick of the week, again, I can't believe it, but it's going to be the Tubi movie found footage horror Decedent. I just think it looks super creepy. I love the setting. I love the mortuary setting. Again, autopsy of Jane Doe, shivers running down my spine. And if you're on this channel and you haven't heard of or seen that movie, go watch it immediately. One of the creepier movies for sure. And I just thought it looked good. It had some really creepy visions. Again, I thought the psychotic break looked good. She must obviously get possessed or like, you know, kind of taken over by this serial killer, and just her kind of sitting in a room with a body and a body bag. Like, I don't know, that's kind of my nightmare. Like, I don't believe in certain things, but I'm not trying to chill with the serial killer's body, you know? Like, so that to me just kind of puts me on edge. So I don't know, I just think that that movie actually has a good creepy look, and that's going to be my second pick of the week. Well, guys, I'm out of here for real this time, as I have got a ton of movies to watch. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you. I appreciate you. I hope you guys have been taking care of yourselves, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.